welcome back to another one of my anti-desk stretch club classes. So of course we will be going through the whole body, looking at joints, muscle activations and primers, a little bit of nerve flossing and some other little juicy bits. So in terms of equipment, all you're going to need is a yoga strap. If you don't have one, a resistance band, a scarf, a tie will do. As well, a yoga brick. Again, if you don't have one, a chunky book will suffice. And lastly, a yoga mat. If you don't have one, a carpet's cool too. But yes, I will see you. We're going to start standing up. We're just going to start standing up and just take a moment to shake the body, get rid of some excess sort of tensions and nerves, and just regulate our nervous system a little bit better. So starting with your feet about hip distance apart, let's just start by shaking the right leg. So try let everything be super relaxed, super floppy. Let the body jiggle, let it do its thing. And then try transfer up into the hips, into the other leg, shake it out, let everything just move. Plant both feet, shake it up to the torso, the arms, shake them both off. And then a little bit of freestyle, do whatever you want. Shake it up, take it high, take it low. Just breathe with it. And then come all the way back to a little bit of stillness, slowing it down. So let's come into some energetic breath swings, as I call it. You're going to take an inhale, draw both hands up and above your head, try and make yourself as tall as possible, maybe even coming up onto your tiptoes. Then on the exhale, sweep the arms down by your side and almost fold forwards. Then inhale back up. Exhale down. Inhaling up. Exhale down. So just do this a couple of times to whatever feels good. Again, you make it as dramatic as you want. You rock up and down on tiptoes. Whatever feels good. Let's do 2 more. Last one. And then all the way up and just shake it all off. Lovely. So we're going to pop ourselves down into our comfortable seat. I'm going to stay kneeling, but feel free to sit on a block, whatever feels good, and just have your strap nearby. Let's come into some lovely neck movements. So 2 fists, push them away, roll your shoulders back and down, keep everything to neutral. So looking forwards and then chin down to the chest. Look across to your right fist. Right ear to right shoulder, look forwards. Circle the head behind left ear, left shoulder. Look down to left fist. Chin to the chest. And then looking forwards. When we reverse it, chin down. Look to left fist. Left ear, left shoulder. Circle the head behind right ear, right shoulder. Down to the right fist. Chin comes back to your chest. And then looking forwards. Cool, so release the hands, roll through them, shake them out a little bit. Now when you're ready, extend right hand above your head as high as it wants to go. Now make sure you elevate your scapula, so your shoulder blade as well. Turn your fingertips away from you, lower down so that the wrist, elbow, shoulder are in one nice long line. Give the fingers a little bit of a wriggle. And then we're going to turn the palm face up, fingers up with you. So in this position here, we're in neutral. Now we're just going to involve a little bit of nerve flossing. So drop the fingertips towards the floor, and as you do, tilt your head to the right. And then everything goes up to neutral. And try pull the fingers towards you as your head goes over to the left. And then again, drop down, head to the right, pick back up, head to the left. Just a couple of times. So this movement is for the meridian and for the ulnar nerve. So just explore, just start to see and feel what kind of sensations are going on, maybe pulsing, numbness, pins and needles, traveling down from your neck all the way towards your fingertips. Cool. 1 more each way. And then release the right hand, head to neutral, left hand to the back of your head, chin to the chest. And just breathing as you try to create a little bit of space in between your cervical vertebra. So the vertebra in your neck. And then looking all the way up. Cool, let's swap sides. So left hand extends up, shoulder elevates. Fingertips away, lower so it's shoulder height. Fingers a wriggle. And then again, turning them up, so neutral. Then drop them down, head to the left. Pick them back up, head to the right. And again, down. And then back up. Just a couple times like this, observing what's going on, what kind of sensations the body is giving you or telling you about. Good, one more time each way. And then back to neutral, release. Right hand to the back of the head, chin to the chest, and again, just try to create a little bit of space. And then release and coming all the way back up. Lovely. So if you just want to break up the seating, at any point feel free to just come forwards, maybe into tabletop position, pat out the feet. And then when you're ready, we're going to play around with some flossing. So grab your strap, your scarf, your resistance band, whatever it is, and you're going to hold it a lot wider than your shoulders. So taking it out, so you almost create a Y shape when you lift the band above your head. Now with this, I want you to try and make the rope or the strap or whatever it is nice and tight, so no slack. Going to be a little bit harder if you have a resistance band though, but see if you can maintain it nice and engaged. So keeping the spine into neutral, lift it up over your head and then slowly take it behind you as low as you want it to go, perhaps even taking it down towards your low back before bringing it round and forwards. Now this is just a simple way to have some controlled movement into the shoulder joint. We're just aiming to kind of lubricate the joint a little bit. So just see what is going on. Don't force anything right now and be super honest with yourself. Try not to cheat by just extending through the spine. Just try to keep everything in control. And breathing, keeping it all nice and regular. Cool, we're going to go one more time each way, behind, and then forward. So release, give everything a little bit of a shake. Lovely. So we're going to do, or have a little look at some tendon care for the arms, or the palms in particular, just because especially if you've been working at a desk, or if you do end up spending some time on your hands, say in your yoga practice, it's always worth taking care of the tendons, because we never really do. So take both hands out in front of you. You're going to create like a hook fist. So take the fingertips towards your knuckles and extend and open. Fingertips to knuckles, extend and open. So 3 more times. Nice and controlled. One more. Good. And now this time is almost creating a duck shape. So fingertips to the thumb and then open. Fingertips to the thumb and open. 3 more times. Good. Last one. And then we're going to come back to the hook. Fingertips to the knuckles. 5 times in total. And then again the duck. Close down everything, slowly open back up. 2 more times. Good. So although it feels like you're not really doing too much, a lot is going on underneath that we're not necessarily aware of, but it's all about consistency. Cool. So coming into your tabletop position, pat out the feet if you want, a little bit more loaded sort of palm wrist tendon care. You're going to push down into your hands and we're going to do something called palm lifts. We're going to go for let's go for 15 of those because they do get everything nice and fired up and activated. So keep the fingers flat to the ground. You're going to lift the palms slowly down, up and down. And just keep going like this. Aim for 15, so I've just done 5. Pressing into the fingertips. Breathing. Feeling a little bit of a pump. Good, so 5 more. Take your time, you don't have to rush through. 2, and then 1, and release. Cool, now we go the other way. We're going to see if we can lift just the fingertips off the ground. So you press down into the heel of the hand, lift, and then down. A little bit harder to do. It doesn't really feel like they're going anywhere, but you're still working. Still getting a little bit of a pump, but this time mainly to the forearm. Good. 5 more. So again, we're going to go 15 of these. 2 and 1 and release. Come back down to your heels, interlace the hands, and maybe just roll through the wrists and roll back the other way. Lovely. And then shake everything off, whatever feels good. Lovely. Let's come into some more shoulder cars. Back to your tabletop position. You're going to brace through the core. The best way I can describe bracing is imagine you're about to be punched by someone in the stomach and you're really trying to like really solidify everything so it hurts less. So thinking about drawing back in, but then really engaging. And we're doing this here just to learn a little bit more about core awareness and tapping into our deep layers of the core, but also because we want to try and maintain quite a still position as we just work into the right shoulder joint and right shoulder capsule for now. So bracing, you're going to take the right hand in front of you, thumb is facing up, so the palm is facing inwards. From here, without rotating too much through the upper body, you're going to lift the right hand up in front of you, coming to shoulder height. Now you're going to take it out towards the right hand side as the palm faces down. And when it gets towards your hip, the palm spins outwards and we lower it down towards the knee. And then again, we lift it up, spin the palm face down, take it out to the side. As it reaches back in front, palm is facing inwards and we lower. We're going to do 3 more of these, so take your time. You don't have to rush. We make it nice and controlled. And just again, slowly mobilizing into the right shoulder socket, lubricating it, checking that it's moving healthy with more sort of control. So last time. And slowly forwards. Cool. And release. Let's come to the left hand side. I'm going to switch directions so you can see. Again, start by pressing down, bracing through the core. Left hand is in front of you, palm facing inwards. Lift it up to shoulder height. Take it out towards the side, palm facing down. As it reaches your hip, palm is outwards and we lower. Lift again, spin the palm face down. Take it forwards, palm is inwards and lower. So that's 1. And we will do 3 more. Take your time. Remember the breath. So throughout this movement, the body stays still. We're only moving into the joints, so we shouldn't feel any twisting into the hips or into the torso. Last time. Good, and then release and relax. Maybe come down to kneeling and shake out, roll through the wrist, because there is quite a lot of pressure that goes down into stabilizing the remaining arm as you're working the other side. Cool, lovely. Let's have a little bit of a look at some more thoracic rotation from this position here. So again, pushing into the palms, bracing into the core. Take the right hand behind your head. Now I want you to imagine you've got a plate on your lumbar or your sacral region. You don't want to twist too much here because you don't want to drop that plate. So right hand behind the head, brace. Inhale, you're going to rotate towards the right hand side. You won't be able to open 180 because that's when the hips start to twist. So rotate and then exhale, come down. Inhale, rotate, exhaling down. Good, 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale down, bracing through the core last time, and exhale down. Lovely. Swap sides over. Again, left hand behind the head. Inhale, rotate, exhaling down. 3 more times. So this time we're just bringing a little bit of mobilization into our thoracic spine. Last time. And then release into your tabletop. Come back to sync, shake out through the wrists, roll through them, whatever feels good. Lovely. So last little drill in this quadruped position before we change it up and come to some standing movements. We're now going to focus in on our lower body. So we're going to look at each hip socket independently. We're thinking about coming into this movement of abduction. So imagine a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. Because these are called fire hydrants, and you're thinking about recruiting your glute muscles as well as your abductors and abductors, so muscles on the inner and the outer thigh, as well as of course using the core. So back to your tabletop position. If you would like, you can take your block and actually place it on your lumbar sacral region to just like double check that you don't cheat, because similarly to our thoracic rotation, with the hip abductions, we don't want to lift too high where the hips now come out of alignment with one another. So if you want, place a block there, but you don't have to. Bracing through the core, the right knee and toes are going to lift off the floor. Then you're going to take it out towards the right hand side, squeezing and engaging, holding here for a moment, and then slowly coming back to neutral. And then again, press and lift, slowly come down. Good. Keep going through the movement. We're going to aim for 10 on each side. So I've just done 4. Keep breathing. Keep pushing through the hands. Keep stabilizing through the core, especially the lower abdomen. Make sure we don't suddenly start to lose integrity of the movements as we start to fatigue. Last 2. 1 more. And then release. Take the block away before you come back down to a kneeling position. You can take care of those wrists. Lovely. So I'm going to move on to the other side. It's also worth noting that in this movement, your hip abduction comes out somewhere towards about like 45 degrees. It'll be slightly different for everyone depending on our anatomy, but you're not aiming for 90 degrees, you're aiming to lift with some kind of control. So I'm going to do it front on so you can see my position a bit more if you want. Come back to using the block if you like, even distance between the hands under the shoulders, hips are over the knees. So when you're ready, pushing through, bracing the core, left leg lifts up and out. We're bracing, we're nice and controlled, there's no twisting in the pelvis or in the hips, even up into the upper body as well. We're firing, we're activating those glutes. Good, we've got 5 more. We're using the muscles in the inner and the outer thigh. Good, 2 more. And we're lifting and both descending with the same amount of control. Last one. Cool, and then release. Take your block off to the side. Oh, pop ourselves up to standing. So, give those legs a little bit of a shake. Give the body a little bit of a shake too. We're going to come into some standing spinal movements. Now, I really enjoy these because you can make them as fluid or as controlled as you like, and I just like it as well because it reminds me of belly dancing, if I did belly dancing. Anyway, we're going to start with the feet about hip distance apart. And I want you to take your hands either side of your thigh. We're just going to learn some movements, so lateral flexion or side bending. So as you slowly tilt towards the right hand side, the right hand goes down, back through center, and left hand goes down. So this is a little bit more quote unquote robotic right now, but we will make it a little bit more fluid in a sec. But this is just to establish a foundation. Cool. So just going to go one more time each side. And then back, and back through center. Now this time, as you do, I want you to imagine like moving like a snake through glass. So as my chest goes to the right, my hips go to the left. Then they switch through center, and then they move to the other side. And you can do this with your hands on your thighs, or you can do it with the hands out to the side if you're embracing a belly dancer, or if you want, hands can go above. And it just feels quite fun to do this. It's a little bit more fluid. You can start to find a little bit of a rock into your feet as well. Whatever feels good. You're getting your shoulders, that spine's moving all healthy. And then slow it all the way down. And come back to a little bit of standing nice. Shake it out. Sweet. So the next one, kind of doing similar movements for the spine, but this time we're going to be rolling forwards and back. So imagine there's like either a wall or a pane of glass in front of you. You're going to touch it with different points of your body moving down first of all. So say we go forehead, chin, chest, belly, hips, knees, and then we come back up. So the idea is like spinal extension and spinal flexion. So you're going to see if you can touch a pane of glass with your forehead and then lift away for the nose and then lift away for the chest, belly, hips, knees. And again, roll forwards. So you're only ever touching with one point of the body and then peeling away. So maybe you're like doing a worm but in the air. And again, you can make it as dramatic as you want. You can really get the arms and the shoulders involved. You can rock onto the tiptoes, the heels, whatever feels good. And I want you to try reverse the movement. Takes a little bit of motor control, that's fine. A little bit of time, I've not got it clearly. But it's even quite fun to do this against a wall to see how much control you can get. So one more. and then release and shake it all the way out. Beautiful. So before we come back down to kneeling, I wanted to do another really juicy primer, looking at ankle mobility and stabilization, but also a really nice way to fire up everything along the posterior chain, and particularly the glutes. So this is called round the clock. And we're going to start by balancing onto the left leg. So essentially we start with the right toes pointing out to 12. We then take them out to 1 and then back to 12, to 2, to 12, to 3, to 12, to 4, and back. We do it all the way around to 9. So 5, to 6, breathe, to 7, to 8, don't worry if you fall, to 9, and now we reverse, so we go from 8 all the way back, 7, 6, 5, use your hands, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. So hopefully everything up the left feels nice and fired up. Let's go on to the right. So again, take the left leg out to 1. No, that's 12. 1, and then 2, 3, 4, to 5, to 6, to 7, to 8, breathe, to 9, and now all the way back. So use your hands with this. It's also developing our proprioception, so knowing where our body is in space. Ooh, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. So yeah, hopefully everything's feeling nice and spicy. We're going to come back down into a kneeling position, but this time come into a kind of split squat. So take the right leg out in front of you. We're going to do something called zigzag. So quite a nice active movement for the hip flexors and the glutes, and an active stretch for the hamstrings. So from this kneeling position, feel free to take a pillow underneath your left knee. You're going to heel toe your right leg out to 45 degrees. Hands are going to come onto your hips so you know where the pelvis is, and we're going to try and maintain it facing forwards, as well as just try not to twist too much or lean away with the torso, unless I say so. And we're keeping shoulders over the hips. So what we're going to do first, bend into the right leg as low as you're comfortable going. Make sure when you get to the bottom position in your end range, you're activating through inner thigh, outer thigh, glutes, core. Breathe. And then you push back up through center. Now here's the active hamstring stretch. You're going to hinge forwards, push your hips behind you, start to straighten out the right leg and go as low as you want to into the back leg. But notice how my shoulders, I'm not twisting, they're still relatively in line with my hips. I drive back up, I engage, I bend into the right leg, nice and active. Push back, hinge, straighten up my right leg as much as possible. And again, we'll go for a total of, let's go 5 times each side. Breathing. Look where you're going as well, or look in front. Last one. Then all the way back to our start. Heel toe that foot in, and we'll swap sides over. Cool. It's quite a nice spicy one. So, left leg, heel toe out, 45 degrees, hands onto the hips. Make sure everything's nice and active. Bend into that left leg. Engage here for a second. Check everything's nice and switched on. Push back through center, hinge forwards with the chest, straighten up left leg, sink. Back up and engage. Push up to neutral and folding. Good, so again, 3 more times. Breathing throughout, keeping everything active, firing all the muscles you can think of. Last one. Beautiful, and then back through to center and releasing, maybe come to a seat or come to standing, shake it off, whatever feels good. Cool. So our next movement, we have got some lateral bear walks. It's quite a nice way to test anti-rotation. So that just means a lot of core control, a lot of pelvic stability as well. So come towards the top of your mat, and we're going to start with us walking down towards the right side. So when we do the bear lifts, equal push through the hands, through the legs, the knees hover an inch off the floor. So what you're going to think of doing, I'll show you what it looks like first before we get into it. You're essentially going to move opposite hand, opposite leg, and then the other one starts to follow. So for example, from the bear position, I'm walking to the right, right hand and left leg will move, and then left hand and right leg, and I'm back to a nice square. And again, and then in. So it's nice, small, controlled steps. The aim is to stay super, super close to the ground so that shoulders and hips are in line and the core is braced in this neutral position. So we're going to go down, back up, and then I'll see if we feel good enough to go down and back up again. So starting at the top of your mat, we're walking towards the right hand side first. So right hand, left leg, left hand, right leg, right hand, left hand. Right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. And now the other way, left hand, right leg, right hand, left leg. Take your time, keep the pace, keep going. Cool, let's do another one whenever you're ready. So we would have done 4 of these in total. Try keep the steps quite small so your surface area doesn't get too wide where you lose control. Good. When you come all the way back to the top of your mat, take a moment to breathe. Maybe run down the quads as well because they are in a super active position throughout. But yeah, that's one of my favourite little core drills, just to test out our anti-rotation and deep awareness of the body. Cool. Right, let's come down to lie on our front. We're going to have a look at some W to Y raises, just so we can start to prime and activate everything that helps stabilize our shoulder blades. So, down onto your belly. These might look simple, but we've got a lot of them to really feel the engagement. So I would start with the toes tucked, so you can squeeze your butt and push your hips into the floor. If you want to look what this is first, so you're going to start forehead on the ground, taking the hands into a cactus position. You're going to raise them off the floor. You're then going to squeeze your elbows towards your side, creating a W shape, trying to keep equal distance between the palms and your elbows, between the floor. And then you're going to raise the arms up overhead, coming out into a Y, with the thumbs facing up, the palms facing inwards. And then again, you draw back down to W, push back up to Y. So 1 rep is a Y and a W, and we are going to do 15 of those because we want to feel the juice. So when you're ready, engage the butt, push the hips to the floor, forehead to the ground so the spine is in neutral. Start by taking the elbows out to the side, lifting to a cactus position. When you're ready, down to W and out to Y. Squeezing to W, out to Y. So that's 2. I want you to go through the reps yourself. So aiming for 15, nice and slow, moving with control, breathing throughout, trying to keep the same distance from the ground in terms of your arms, so just hovering, feeling everything in the upper back switch on, everything that helps support the shoulder blade and the shoulder joint. I've got 2 more reps. Last one. And then releasing, oh my gosh. So, pillow with your hands, relax the hips, let them rock side to side. So hopefully everything in the upper back feels nice and switched on. So looking at the rhomboids, looking at the rotator cuffs, looking at the traps, looking at a lot of things. Cool. So the next one we are going to do is called lizard taps. Don't actually know the real name, but for some reason it reminds me of how a lizard might move. So it's quite a nice way to get one hip working and the muscles around that hip really firing, as well as our deep oblique muscles. So take your hands underneath your shoulders, and try roll your shoulder blades back so we're squeezing. Now they're already active, the muscles in the upper back, so hopefully this feels good. You are going to tuck the toes and lift the right knee above the right hip. Now pushing into the hands, we're going to do 8 of these each side. You're going to start to push into the hands so this right knee can lift out to the side and squeeze up towards the elbow. Don't worry about the chest lifting off the floor, that's fine. And then we slowly peel it back and come to the start. And again, lift and squeeze, push it back. So squeezing for 3, then drive it back. For 4, and then back. 5, and back. Keep pushing through the hands. 6, engaging glutes. 7, last one. 8, and back. Take a mini break. Rock the hips side to side. So because you're actually pushing through the hands as well, there's a lot of upper body stability that we're looking at too. Let's come onto the other side. Hands underneath. Roll your shoulders back, pushing into the palms. Tuck the toes of the right leg, lifting the left foot behind you. When you're ready, take it out to the side, squeeze up and in, and then press and engage back. For 2, and then back. 3, allow the left chest to lift off. 4, breathe. 5, lightly touch down. 6, 7, last one, and 8, and back, and release hands, rock your hips side to side. Lovely. So we're going to roll onto our back and do our last 2 drills before cooling down. So grab hold of your block or your book, and we are going to do some hip flexor dead bug. So a really nice way to switch on and activate again, or perhaps even strengthen our hip flexor muscles, so one of the deepest abdominals, and also get used to bracing the core a little bit. So you are going to take your block in between your right thigh and your right elbow. So this position here, we're squeezing, we're holding the block. This is the act of activating the hip flexor into an isometric hold. And then from there, we take the left hand straight above. It's not really doing anything apart from just stabilizing. We're bracing through the core. Left leg is going to lift straight above that hip. Now with control, you slowly lower the left leg towards the ground. As much control as possible. It doesn't have to go all the way to the floor. In fact, it should hover, and then slowly lift it back up to the start. And again, it slowly lowers down, slowly all the way back up. We're going to do 6 of these in total because it is quite taxing. Don't worry about letting the leg lower all the way down. If it needs to stop halfway, just let it stop halfway. Good. Breathing. 2 more. And be wary about the back. Don't push through pain. Last one. Make sure the core is braced. And back up. Lovely. Release. Let's swap onto the other leg. So block between left thigh, the left elbow. So the hand is sort of holding the head. I find that super comfortable. Right hand straight above, right leg straight above that hip. And again, slowly lower, engage, bring it back up. Breathe, keep everything stable, bring it back up. Hip flexors are on, core is braced. We're breathing, we're all chill. Last 2. Last 1. Good, and then release and relax. You can pop your block down, maybe hug knees in, let yourself roll side to side. Lovely. So just to finish off, just for a last little bit of juice, we're going to do some tempo glute bridges. So tempo means that we go at an equal pace throughout. So we're going to lift up for 3 seconds, hold for 3 seconds, and then descend for 3 seconds. So everything is super active and super in control, and we learn maybe a little bit more about what muscle groups to recruit. So first of all, feet are placed about hip distance apart. Switch on, brace to the core. So again, imagine someone's about to punch you, for a lack of a better way to describe it. And we're slowly going to lift our hips up for 3 seconds. So lifting for 1, 2, 3. Holding at the top for 1, 2, 3, and descend for 1, 2, 3. Again, lift up for 1, 2, 3. Holding for 1, 2, 3. Descend 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to do a couple more. I want you to go at your own pace because I want to give instructions and not just count. But again, everything is super, super controlled. You can't rush this movement, and as a result, you've got to really think about what muscles you're switching on and activating. So you're pushing through your big toe so that the glutes switch on perhaps a little bit easier. As you drive up, you're thinking about activating the hamstrings. The way to do that is by dragging or thinking about dragging the heels towards your upper body. The muscles on the inner thigh and outer thigh are working. The way I like to imagine that is imagine you're holding a beach ball between your legs. You neither want it to pop, nor do you want it to just slip through and disappear. And then core is on and glutes are on. Let's just go 2 more times. Breathing, activating, engaging. Oh my god, I've got a hamstring cramp. Just go 1 more time. And slowly, slowly down. Beautiful, and release. Hug your knees in and rock side to side. So yeah, if you also experienced a cramp, I am sorry, but it kind of will show you then what muscles you need to maybe work on a little bit more to start to strengthen so that they don't cramp. I know I certainly need to strengthen my hamstrings. Okay, so hugging the knees in, we're going to drop them both down towards the right hand side, right hand onto the knee, left hand is going to extend away from you. Now I'm just going to finish off with some simple arm sweeps just to get a bit of thoracic movement in. So taking your left hand down next to your hips. The hand can either stay flat to the ground or it can float. But it's going to go floating outwards, create a big 180 up and above your head, and you roll over to your side. And again it spins up and over and slowly lowers. I'll just go through that a couple of times, just to get some nice movement in for the thoracic. 1 more time as we lie in this fairly comfy position. Good, let's go for 1 more sweep. Good, and then release through center, then knees down to the left, right arm out to the side. Sweep it up and over and up and over. Keep the hand floating, or it can literally be skimming the ground, whatever feels good. Beautiful. We'll go 1 more time. And slowly all the way back to the middle. Planting the feet onto the ground, we're going to hold the back of the left thigh. Let the heel drop down towards the ground, and then you're going to extend the leg as straight as you want it to go. Point the toes to flex them, to point them again, and then drop the heel back down. So again, extend, point, flex, point, release, and down. Let's go 3 more times. Extend, point, flex, point, and down. Just a little bit of fascial flossing for the posterior chain, so everything from the Achilles tendon to the lumbar back, and release. Cool, onto the right leg. Oh, and I just cramped there as well, so this will suck. So extend the right leg as much as you want, point, flex, point, and then slowly down. The leg doesn't have to go dead straight, it doesn't matter. And then down. And we'll do 3 more times. Last 2. Last 1. And then releasing. Cool. When you're ready, hug your knees and rock side to side. And rocking up and down 2 or 3 times. And we're coming all the way up to a comfortable seat. And thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you feel all good in your body, all mobilized or active. If you had any feedback, obviously let me know, and any suggestions for future videos. Otherwise, I will see you next time.